Well, hello. Trust all's well wherever you are. More musings, thoughts, and what am I on about today? Well, I'm on about strike rates again, actually. Must say, I'm absolutely loving in the IPL that sides seem to have shifted in the direction of batting first. However, in the last little while, couple of days, 2, 3 days, whatever it's been, where teams have decided that they'll bat first, um, the teams batting second have managed, despite um, decent scores of 200, just over. Teams have then still chased them down. So yeah, an interesting position that the game find itself in terms of the strategy with regards to teams and whether they'd like to bat or to bowl first, and what will continue to inform that. Up to sort of a couple of days ago, really the issue was teams weren't prepared to bat first, seemingly going along with the thinking that batting second is the way to go because you don't know how many to set and so forth. But I think that thinking has changed, and now the consideration is essentially about both. It's about which is better, not just better for because of the conditions. Conditions will dictate a great deal, and you get to a place in the tournament where the pitches are tired and therefore will what would call die in the middle of a game, so or towards the end of a game, making a chase that much harder. So you get the best of it if you bat first, provided there's no dew. If there's dew, then it kind of stays the same, and it takes that equation out. However, um, it doesn't mean that that kind of automatically wins you the game. It means you still have to take the necessary risk or to press home the advantage by the way that you play when you have the best of the conditions. So yeah, that's the challenge, and it's fascinating to watch as it unfolds. Um, that said, what I actually wanted to talk about was that game between the Chennai Super Kings and the Punjab Kings, and it was a Chepauk, and so you expect that at the Chendabaram Stadium that Chennai would win, but that's two losses in a row at the Chendabaram Stadium for for Chennai, and you don't expect that. I mean, you just don't. It's something that doesn't really happen. Rajasthan Royals first, and then the Punjab Kings. In that game, the Punjab Kings had to get 201 to win. Wonderful game, by the way. MS Dhoni walking in, and what did he get? 13 from four balls or something like that. Four and a six and two. Rapturous cheers and applause and just absolute mayhem. The place going bonkers because he got those runs. He'd gone bonkers as he walked onto the field, as is normally the case. But yeah, them getting to 200 was good, and the expectation was with their spin they'd be able to kind of choke the game, and for the largest part they actually were in the middle of the game, only for Punjab Kings to come back through that Livingston innings. The peculiar thing is that in that chase, there wasn't a half century. There wasn't what we would term a milestone, and I'll call it a traditional milestone. Um, and yet, still, the Punjab Kings got to 201, got the job done. What was impressive, what was evident, was the fact that just about every batter that got out there that affected the game which is just about everyone who went out there. Prab Simran up at the top, Dhawan with him, Livingston in the middle. He's the one who shifted it again when it looked like they were going the wrong way. Curran, probably had the lowest of the strike rates because he was in that period where things were going quite badly, and then they had to try and consolidate before going again. Jitesh Sharma was having a fabulous season, and then Sikandar Raza at the end. Yeah, nobody with 50, none whatsoever. I think I'm trying to think what the highest score was. I think it was 42. Yeah, 42, I think. And I think that was Prab Simran right up at the top. And the strike rates are fantastic. 175, 168, 187, 145. I think 145 from Curran was the lowest, which says something, right? 145 is a strike. In the whole game, there's only 150. 50 was just about 100, 92 from 92 not out, actually, I think it was, for Devon Conway, who's playing beautifully. But it doesn't matter if you get 50 or you don't get 50. I don't know if there would be a better tell. It doesn't matter if you get 100 or if you don't get 100. Moral of the story: utilize the deliveries you have available to you as best you can. Maximize on them. Because if you do, then 200 is attainable without anybody getting a half century. So the focus, I believe, ought to shift. Now, as I say, cricket is a game about conditions, more so than most, if not all, other games. If the conditions are a certain way, it kind of determines how you ought to play. But with the way 2020 cricket is structured, with the way the game is, and what everyone looks for, you more often than not turn up on what is a batting wicket. And it is the batters that must make the play. It is the batters that must maximize. It's the bowlers who will make a difference and how good they are on the day, if they're to stop them on that day, or they're just to shift the game a little bit and hold the game a little bit in order that your side can then win the game by chasing what would otherwise be known as a moderate score, even if it looks like a particularly big one, just because of what we're used to. We're not used to 200s being chased down. Right? So because we're not used to 200s being chased down, when a team gets 200, there is sometimes the thought automatically that, oh, they've batted well. But have they? That's the question. Have they got enough runs? Have they got the runs on the board that put them in the winning position? Or have they just got to par? And understand these from the perspective of how to play, impact players, all the rest, free minds, shot making going berserk as is supposed to be the case, and also the fact that there are these traditional mindsets where there's throttling back sometimes, and there's the thought of milestone when you're getting to a milestone. What happens naturally, because it's kind of been ingrained in players for some time. I don't know what you think. Let me know. I think strike rates, we have to speak more about these strike rates and how they can influence the game that much more. And in the past few days, we've seen how they have. And in particular, that game, CSK against the Punjab Kings. Let me know your thoughts on all of this. Yeah, and by the way, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and tell your friends as well. Your friends, your classmates, whatever they are, get them on the channel. Cheers for now.